Alright everybody, welcome to part B of list. Okay, let's jump right in. And I left off here in explaining what was what. We'll run it. I don't want to update, that's just silly. And this is what we get. The thank you for being our first user and latest user. And I told you about the little trick with the 0th element and the first element. Alright, now we can actually remove items, and this is something that I'm not sure, I don't really see that often, or not use that often, but I'm sure that it can be. Let's find out where there's my list. We're removing it from the dogs. We're back to the dogs. Actually, well, yeah, we can do that. Let me go ahead and just take that out of there. Alright, so let's go ahead and drop this list off in here. And we have, alright, so this is deleting the 0th element, and there's a delete command, just del, and we specify what we want to delete from and which placement value. So yeah, here, I'll just run this and you'll see what I mean. And okay, so we see this is the list right here on this line right there, and it's missing that first element that it had originally, and we told it to delete this border collie. Okay, now if let's go ahead and, since we remember, we can just simply say dogs that append, and let's put let's just put the border collie back into the list, and let's see, and let's put that, actually we're not going to use the append because that goes at the end. Let's use the insert command and insert in the 0th element. So let's go ahead and put that back. Now let's just well, I'll leave it on there, it doesn't really matter. So we just put that back. Alright, let's clear this, and as you can see, we have two we have two in there. Yeah, maybe perhaps I should have figured that out a little bit better. Well, yeah, let's insert it, but let's delete it. So let's copy that, and let's delete dogs in the 0th element, and then we'll print out dogs again, and then we'll insert it and print it out again so that you can see that we took it out and then we put it back in there. And if we run this again, you can see, okay, we took it out and then we put it back right where it was. Cool. Alright. Gives us a little something to play with. Now we can also take them out by value. So how do we do that? Well, there's a remove function, and we can actually specify the actual string format. So we can go ahead and remove that, and then we'll add that print statement back in so you can see it. And let's go ahead and run that. And as you can see, we took out this one, the Australian, and we just gave it the entire string value, and we just removed it. Pretty easy. Okay, moving right along. Alright, popping items from a list. Alright, so let's pop out the last item. Okay, So if we said the last dog equals dogs pop, then we're going to pop out the last item. Okay. So, and then this will pop out the first item. So let's do, this should be dogs, not dog. Okay. And that's just assigning that a variable, so we can just say, okay, let's pop that out, and then we can actually say, okay, well, let's pop out the first one, and not just the first and last. So that's assigning it to a variable. We can just do this directly, so we don't even have to assign it to a variable. We could just say, you know, dogs pop, and then print it out again, and it would be just fine. Okay, now we're back on the username list. So let's, oh, it's already good. Okay. So for this, we're going to make a copy of it. Okay. And what I did was I made a variable called copied usernames, and then I printed it out. Okay. All right. Then we're going to remove the first two users from the copied list, and we're going to print that out, and then I'm going to show that the original list has been unaffected. So here are the commands to do that. We just reuse these delete statements, right? So by issuing this command twice, what we're doing is, okay, we're taking the 0th element out, and then we're running it again, so that element slides to the left, and then the next element's removed. So that's taking out the first two. And of course, you know, we could just make that 0, 1. It doesn't really matter. And then I'll show you the original list. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. There might be some decent amount of stuff on the screen, but that's all right. We'll be all right. All right. So here we go. Here's the full copied list. These three right here, right? We got Brent, Cody, and Steve. Now these are the first two removed. Like what I said. We took the 0th element out, Brent. All right. After that's deleted, this Cody slides over, you know, and so this would be the 0th element, and that would be 1. So then we took the 0th element out again, which is Cody, and then we have Steve, and now this is printing out the original list, which we can tell that it hasn't been modified. So pretty cool. We can copy a list, mess with it as much as we want, and then if we ever need the original list, we don't have to worry about messing with that. Now we're going to get into numbers, okay? I just have a simple list, and it's entitled numbers, all right? For intensive purposes, I'm going to go ahead and comment out all of this, and so our window stays a little bit smaller. Okay, so we have a very, very simple for loop to print out these numbers, all right? And how that's going to work, we already know how that's going to work. Okay, so what we're going to do now is add, and we're going to use the range function to do this for us. Now this isn't really that practical because we only have, you know, 10 numbers we're trying to generate, but it just shows another function of it. Here we're going to print out the first 10 odd numbers, which may be useful to you. And how we're doing that is we're using the range function itself. And these three, you can use 3 values in the range function. Okay, so this is saying that we're going from 1 to 21, which we know we're going from 1 to 20. And this right here is saying the numbers we're going to skip. So this is saying going up by 2s. Okay. Now down here we're going to create a list. Wait, before I get to that, let's go ahead and run this and see what we got. And okay, look at all that great stuff. All right, so we have a number list 1 to 10. We have a number list 1 to 10. That's our for loop right there. And then we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, all the way up to 19 or 20 by 2s. Okay? All right, let's go back over here. Now we're going to generate the same list, but with a range. So how do we do that? Well, pretty neat. There's a list function, so we can just say numbers equal list, and I'm giving it a range of 1 to 10. Okay. And in this one down here, we're gonna store the first million numbers in a list. Okay. Then we're going to show the length of the list with the len function. So print the list numbers has, and then we're concatenating here, and we're making this a string, and then we're using the length function of numbers, this list, okay, and it's going to say how many numbers it has in it. Alright, and we're going to print out the last 10 numbers from that list, okay, and we're going to go ahead and run that so you can see what's going on. Alright, so this is the newer thing. We created a list with that list function from 1 to 10 pretty quick, and list numbers has a million numbers in it, okay, and here are the last 10 numbers, boom 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 boom, up to a million, right? How do we do that? The magic right here. We just said, hey, we want the last 10 numbers. It's a slice. We sliced out the last 10 numbers. Alright, I know I'm going a little quick, but these things are pretty self-explanatory. So we have the min-max functions, okay? We should be done with this for now. And let's go ahead and comment that out. Alright, so here we have the ages, and this is just kind of a quick way of showing you how to use min, max, and the sum, which this is really kind of self-explanatory, but it does involve lists, so I'm showing it to you, which makes sense. Alright. Okay. So here's what we have. We have all these ages, right? And so we're saying the young is, we're using the minimum function for ages. The oldest, we're using the maximum. And then the total years, we're adding them together. That's all. But instead of saying this plus that, we're using these functions that already do it for us. So as you can see from the print statement, I'm going to go ahead and run it. And it says our youngest is 11, our oldest is 38, and we have 149 years worth of life experience. So let's check that out. 11 is our lowest and 38 is our highest, and all added together, I'm sure that that does equal that. Alright, list comprehensions. Alright. For list comprehensions, we're going to make a list, okay, and then we're going to run ourselves a for loop, okay. And as we run this for loop, we're going to square the numbers before we return it, okay. And I'll show you what this looks like right now. And whoops. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and put all this right here. And here, and there. Let's run it again. Alright, here's our values. 1, 4, 9, 16. You see how these values are squared up, right? All the way up to 10. 9 times 9 is 81, 10 times 10 is 100, 8 times 8 is 64, 7 times 7 is 49, 3, okay, 13, okay. And so that's what we were doing with all of this. Now, this, these two lines right here can be replaced. We can just take those out. And I had it commented out here, but we could just replace them with this right there. Okay. And if I said I wanted to print square there, or print, I'm sorry, that would be dumb. Print the number, and let's run that. I should really start putting that clear statement on my stuff. Here we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Good. And then we have the squared values. Okay. There. Very, very nice. So this would not be the way to do it. All right. When we're talking about list comprehensions, this is what we're talking about. This statement right here on 174. All right. We're adding the for loop within the list statement itself. So we're making that, and we're passing it through the value of squares. So let's print squares. All right, let's print that out and then run that, and I'm sure it'll be a great little, now we have the squares of those numbers from 1 to 10, just the squares. Okay. All right, this is going to conclude part B. Okay. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. Like the video if you like it. If you have any questions, comments, or need further explanations, feel free to leave me a comment. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time.